What is going on, Chelsea fans? Thank you for heading over to our YouTube channel. Hey, this is a clip from the entire match review podcast we did. It's only a segment. The full pod is like an hour long, so it doesn't make sense to be on YouTube, but it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, link in the description. But if you want to know what we talk about in the entire podcast, we talk about the match review, the stats, the lineups, the goals. We talk about the new signings, the German duo, Havertz and Werner, and how they did. We talked about Rolls Reece and that rocket of a goal he had and just his overall performance. And then we kind of talked about a work in progress, who we think or what parts of the team need to be improved upon yet. And then we all picked an unsung hero. So it is a blast. It was a ton of fun, great energy. Go check it out. Again, link in the description, but we hope you enjoy this clip. Until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high. So the first point we want to break into is new season, new look. Let's talk about the start of the season in the context that this Chelsea team had several new signings make their debut. Timo Werner, Kai Havertz. How do we think the two Germans delivered in their debut? If we were to start with Timmy Werner, as Dan is really pushing for on Twitter, trying to make that stick.
What are we doing there?
It's fantastic.
Leave the nicknames to me. Get out of here.
Do you see Chidge put our Irish signing, Timo Werner? Timmy Werner.
I loved that. Chidge nailed that one.
Yeah, Chidge gone Chidge.
Yeah, I mean, we were excited about the signing of Timo Werner. We had a chance to see him play against Brighton a little bit over a week ago in the preseason debut, and that was a good opportunity to get acclimatized to him. I think the dude has so much energy. Like, I think what gets missed in some of the stats, and this maybe goes to the Knicks eye test, but he was nonstop. And I think it was funny. It took the first two offsides very early for someone to post like an Alvaro Morata gif. It's just like okay, like we're 20 minutes into the Premier League season. We probably should slow down on the comparison, because what I will tell you is that Alvaro Morata would not make nearly any of the runs or do any of the 90 minutes of dedicated running that Timo was doing in this match. I think very unfortunate to not be played into goal probably about twice, and kept on getting in positions that were hella dangerous. So, I mean, the stats were great. He was unfortunate to not come away with a goal, but that earned us a penalty that Jorginho was able to convert. So, like, ultimately, he did everything you want from your center forward, Nick. He was getting in dangerous positions. He was commanding the respect of the defenders, and he made himself known in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anyone had doubts about his pace, those were found out very quickly. That he's all possessing of that pace. He got really unlucky with some of the service today. I mean, just he could have had 2 or 3 on his own if service would have been a little bit better. And I think it's going to be interesting to see as he shifts out wide, because he did shift out wide a little bit towards the end of the game, and you can just see the fear of God that he puts into fullbacks, and then the center back that's supposed to be tied to that fullback, because they don't know whether to track him or to track the runner that's coming in behind. It's going to be fascinating to see how that all works. And then your brain starts to go, Dan, on the, oh man, what if Pulisic's in there? What if you have Kai Havertz performing at a high level? What if you have Mason Mount able to drop in a dime, that like Ziyech, all these guys, and it's like
don't tempt me with the sexiest football the Premier League has ever seen.
I know,
it's coming.
It's like we played with half your pieces today, and you still won pretty comfortably. I mean, it wasn't a comfortable game by any means, but good Lord, you start to add everything else back in, Brandon, and it's tempting to say the least.
Yeah, Timo Werner had 20% of his touches inside the opposition's box today. So where do you want your striker hanging out? Or in the opposition's box? That's a great place for them to be spending their time. And for us to have less than 50% possession and 20% of his touches were inside the box, that's exactly what you want. He completed 15 of his 19 passes. He created a chance. He had 5 shots, 1 on target, 3 blocked. So he was going in shooting. Yeah, they got blocked, but hey, he's not afraid to pull the trigger. And I think, again, that's something that we're very happy to see because we've complained about that in the past. Mm-hmm. And then, to Dan's point a little bit, he covered 11.53 kilometers. Only N'Golo Kante, who we all know is non-human, covered more than him. So I think that's interesting. Now, is this the norm for him? I don't know. I don't really know his stats from the Bundesliga. Or is he just really excited day one, I'm going to go out, bust my hump, and work hard? Either way, it's a great thing to have. The striker out there working hard. Lampard talked about it in post-matches that, he doesn't just attach himself to a center back and kind of just hover in one spot and wait for the ball to happen. Like, he's constantly creating angles, hiding behind the defender's shoulder, looking for ways to kind of get in it and penetrate in a different way, and I think that's what's most exciting is that he's a proactive striker rather than a reactive striker. Hey, you guys come get it to me when I'm in the box. He's ready to get involved, ready to play and go from there. So I think overall just seeing the to your point, the energy and the enthusiasm from him to just run constantly and find ways, I think is great. Yeah,
I was gonna say the two things that I would note on him in addition to that: one, the run that he made that Kai released him on was incredible. Just his ability to make the run, stay on side, and get into the box. Ultimately didn't end up being kind of the best shot, kind of got played off of the angle. And then his post-match interview where they asked him if he was going to be ready for Liverpool because he said he had a bit of a dead leg, which if that's him on a dead leg, oh my God, like that's just scary. I think that his response was, of course, like it's a big game. It's the games you have to be ready for. That's the exact type of mentality that you want in your number 9. And so, yeah, if you weren't already on the Werner bandwagon, like everyone is on now.
Well, I also appreciated his honesty. He's so soft-spoken too, unassuming. He's a silent assassin. Like that's his role. But they asked him about the defenders and playing in the Premier League. He's just like, I have never played against such large human beings. Like you had Dunk back there, obviously. Whoever is white or whoever got taken off in the first half of the injury. Some big boys playing center back. So it's kind of funny, Nick, just to hear him be like, those dudes are huge. Maybe that's why he kept moving, so he's never around them and not letting them get close enough to kick him, which is a smart guy. I think smart heads up play.
Right, and I think he understood early on that just the ability to body up those guys is not really there for a person of his size. It's there for someone like Olivier Giroud, obviously, but that's when he just started playing out wide, going off the shoulder, making them turn and look to find, to understand where he was. I mean, that's the way you beat big guys, right? Is you just buzz around him and annoy the hell out of him. And that's what he was doing.
Yeah. Well, that was only half of the German duo making their Premier League debuts today. The other one, Kai Havertz, who really hasn't spent a lot of time in London at all. I mean, he probably was looking at flats. Maybe he was buying a car. He had stuff to do on top of meeting his new teammates, meeting his new manager, which it sounds like he already actually knew pretty well. 88% pass accuracy from the midfielder, 35 touches. It's not a lot, really. 7 recoveries, 3 tackles, 1 take-on completed, 1 chance created with 0 shots. I mean, personally, Nick, my bar was low for him. The fact that he started was probably a bit of a necessity, but I mean, sorry, Barkley, I guess you know where you stand. But overall, like, not exciting, but small glimpses, just the smallest glimpses of like, okay, he's starting to see some things. His runs he made, even if he didn't get it, the lack of chemistry and stuff. But anyways, that's kind of at least how my initial eye test passed on Kai Havertz.
Yeah, today was a day of like little things for Kai, right? We've all watched highlight packages, but highlight packages don't tell you the full story of a player. And I think that's kind of where I was just kind of keying in on him during the match, understanding how he moved. He's a big, smooth athlete, man. He really there's no hitch in his giddy up. There's nothing. He can fly. He can track back. He's relatively agile. I think what he lacked in kind of final third impact today was more than made up for by the fact that he was linking up play and creating triangles on the right side primarily. And I think for both Werner and Havertz, a big thing that I noticed is that they tracked back a lot to win the ball back. And that's a huge mental thing for every other player on the squad. These are now you're like two of your highest priced players in the whole team, and they're doing hard work, right? So there's a mental bridge that some of our other players, frankly, have to get over now, because if those guys are going to do it, if he's the 92 million pound man after bonuses and he's tracking back, then, your Rubens and, the rest of the team have to make that effort too. I mean, it's just requisite now. So I think their mentality is good. And while he didn't win all the challenges when he tracked back, I think there's a little work to do there. He certainly showed the effort. And again, just little things. The pass that you mentioned earlier, right, is you're going to see that more as he gets comfortable with his teammates. But yeah, I was okay. I was okay with the debut.
What do Naz say that he tracked, it was like a 60, 70-yard run, like the 73rd minute from Kai. And just, you don't get that from a lot of players, let alone a marquee signing, let alone his first match in the Premier League, Dan. So, yeah, like I said, to me, it's like there was glimpses of excitement, but overall, like a very lukewarm debut. But, I think as we get into a little bit, the system was more restrained than what it was last year anyway, so maybe that was a product of the system.